Welcome back. You're watching News Center. Iran has condemned Israel's involvement in Hezbollah chief Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah's death. In a statement, Iranian Foreign Minister Nasser Kanani has said that the country will not leave any of the criminal acts of Israel unanswered. Could this lead to an all-out war in the Middle East? How will this impact tensions that have already been going on for the last 1 year? Joining us right now is Talmiz Ahmad, Foreign Indian Ambassador to Saudi Arabia, Oman, and someone who is an expert on the Middle East as well. Ambassador Ahmad, thank you very much for joining us. Would you actually call this a decapitating blow to Hezbollah, or do you think the group is now strong enough to absorb, regroup and re-emerge?
There is no doubt that the Hezbollah has suffered a very major blow. A large number of its top leaders have been killed. Israel has also indicated its technological outreach through the explosion of the pagers and the walkie-talkies. Israel has indicated that it has the capacity to inflict extraordinary damage on this organization. Does this mean that the organization is now finished? Certainly not. This kind of assaults on Hezbollah have taken place several times in the past. In fact, the former leader, the leader before Hassan Nasrallah, had also been killed by the Israelis. Indeed, it has been a pattern, as far as Israel is concerned, to take out senior leaders of movements that are opposed to them. But that has served only a domestic purpose. It for a moment shows their leadership, particularly Prime Minister Netanyahu, as being a very effective and powerful leader of his country. But the factual position is, and that is borne out by history, that such assassination actually serve very little useful purpose. Such movements are able to get together all over again. They have a very motivated cadre. They also have a leadership that is well trained and also anxious to prove itself. So while there is a setback, no denying that, it will recover as it has done in the past and will remain in robust opposition to the Israelis in the coming weeks, months, and years.
Right. Right. That's an important point, sir. And when it comes to impacting Iran's influence in the region, do you think now Iran will be forced to react and retaliate directly against Israel?
Iran will retaliate, but at a time of its own choosing and in ways that it believes will be effective in terms of its own national interest. Iran has been deliberately and consciously provoked several times, both by the Americans as well as by the Israelis. Both of them have been anxious to drag Iran into an all-out conventional conflict so that Israel can repeat the assault on Iran that it had done in 1967 on Egypt and Syria. Because of 40 years of sanctions, Iran does not have a conventional military capacity. It has safeguarded its interests by building non-state actors across different parts of the region. These are not conventional forces, and it is very easy for a conventional force like Israel that is armed to the teeth and provided state-of-the-art weaponry by the Americans to assault these cadres. As you know, in order to take out one high-profile leader, the Israelis are willing to kill 100 and even 200 people. For them, Arab lives don't matter. You have seen this in the case of Hamas. Just a few people have been killed in terms of leadership, but 40,000 Palestinians have been killed. My own assessment is Iran is not likely to be dragged into a major regional conflict because that is not a conflict that it can win.
Right. When it comes to a coordinated response from the axis of resistance, do you feel that Iran's proxies in the region will retaliate? We could see a coordinated attack on Israel as a result?
These various non-state actors, militant groups, have as their priority concern a domestic agenda. Hezbollah is concerned about Lebanon security. The Iraqi cadres are concerned about their political influence within Iraq. The Houthis are concerned about their place in Yemeni politics. Each of them has emerged as a player in the current conflict because of the atrocities perpetrated on the Hamas and on the Palestinian people. Each of them has said, and said very clearly, they will stop their belligerence the minute there is a ceasefire and humanitarian assistance is provided to the Palestinian people. But the Israelis have no interest whatsoever in a ceasefire and in a peace process. They do not wish to address the core issues that animate anger in the region. And that is why you find Israel's leaders totally committed to a permanent conflict in the region rather than address the issues that are the original source of the conflict. I don't believe there will be any concerted attack. I feel that each of these is autonomous. Iran is a broad inspiration and possibly has upgraded their weapons capacity, but that is all. Iran, this is not a coherent or cohesive group that is that is formed like a military coalition. It is not. These are all non-state actors. All of them have certain weaponry, but these are militia at the end of the day. They do not have the weapons capacity that Israel has in terms of aircraft, artillery, and the technology that supports its weapons of war in current times. So none of them is capable, either separately or jointly, they are capable of inflicting considerable damage on the Israelis. They can be of nuisance value, but that is all. What animates them is their anger, their commitment, and their larger purpose.
Yes, you made an important point that they will serve as nuisance value for Israel in the months and years to come. Now, coming back to the possibility of an all-out war, how do you think the American election could be impacted by Iran being drawn into the conflict, a larger all-out Middle East war? And do you think there could be some impact on Netanyahu's war against Hamas and also Hezbollah, depending on the outcome of the US election, Ambassador Ahmed?
I must confess to you that I am completely appalled at the role of the United States in this extraordinary conflict. The United States has been a bystander. It has been a major provider of weapons to Israel and has made weak statements from time to time urging a ceasefire. I am personally convinced as of now that the president has been rebuked in public by Netanyahu, and he has bleated from time to time saying that he wants this ceasefire or that ceasefire. I don't actually believe that the United States has any commitment to a ceasefire, nor does it have any influence on Netanyahu. But they do not have the courage or the capacity to stop the supply of weapons. So today, the kind of mass murder, what many have seen as genocide, that has been perpetrated by the Israelis over the last year, is entirely on account of American weaponry. American weaponry in Ukraine, where they are fighting the Russians to the last Ukrainian, and here they are pursuing in West Asia their own agenda at the expense of the lives of the Arab people in the region. This is mass murder as a camouflage of the absence of policy. Will it impact on the elections? The elections, the American political order is dysfunctional. It is in disarray. This is a quarrel within the United States that is a polarized country. Two people are competing with each other on issues that are overwhelmingly domestic. None of them has the capacity to be tough on Israel, either now in the election period or afterwards when one of them sits in the White House. I do not believe that any American president has the capacity to actually stop weapon supplies to the Israelis and demand that a two-state solution be pursued. They will not be able to do that. And because of this, knowing full well this American weakness, Netanyahu has carried out this mass murder and genocide right in front of our eyes.
Right. Very important points there. Thank you very much, Ambassador Ahmad. Always a pleasure having you here on CNBC TV 18. With that, we come to the end of News Center. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.